So this is me. I graduated from Howard University College of Dentistry, and alhamdulillah, I was a top performer in my class. I was in the top 5% in my class. Clinically as well as academically, I have attained a lot of awards from different departments. I know this does not mean it's a lot of English, but we have different departments in our school. We have restorative dentistry, we have endodontics, we have plus. Alhamdulillah, on my graduation day, I was announced among the top 5 students in each of these departments. I worked as a dental hygienist, as I mentioned, for about 10 years. And I helped to serve thousands of patients during that time. And this was the best time. I still enjoy it. Now it's really good, but I enjoy being a hygienist because it was not the stress of being a doctor, and I had the time to talk to my patients. I love being working as a hygienist.
One question.
Yes.
So you were practicing as a hygienist for 10 years?
Yes.
And then did you take a 4-year for
Yes.
dental school?
Yes.
4-year? Okay.
I had to go back, and I'll go back. I'll explain how I did that.
Oh, okay.
So
and you had to take like an examination
Yes.
to get into
Yes.
it? Okay.
So as a hygienist, you can become a hygienist actually only by getting an associate degree.
Oh.
So I had my associate degree from Nova, and so I went there for my hygiene program, and then I worked as a hygienist for over 10 years. Then when I realized that I wanted to pursue dentistry as a career, I went back to George Mason University, and I actually attained a bachelor's degree in biology. Then I applied to dental school.
Oh, wow.
Took dental admission test, then I applied to school. So I've been in school for almost 12 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
MashaAllah.
Did they accept the Sudanese high school certificate?
Yes, so there is a lot of like centers throughout the U.S. If you are a foreign student, like you came with a college degree or high school diploma, you can take that paperwork, send it to them, and they will make it equivalent to a U.S. diploma or degree. And they will tell you where you stand right now and what do you need to fulfill the specific requirements for the career that you want to pursue. Yes. So, and I did all of that through Nova. So if you go to Nova, their counselors will say, let's say you have a degree that you attained from Egypt. This is my degree. They will give you the center, one of them in New York. They will give you all of the equivalents to these classes, and they tell you this is where you are right now, and this is where you need to pursue whatever career you want to pursue. So I did all of that. This is my family, my husband, my kids, my mom, and that was my graduation picture. Unfortunately, I did not have a graduation because of COVID, but we went to DC and we had pictures as a family to celebrate our success. So we can go to the next
A
slide.
beautiful family. I'm sorry.
They're coming. They're stuck in traffic.
Oh, really?
Okay. So how did I get here? How did I get here? I gave a very brief description of why and how I got here. You can go to the next slide, please. So I had to make a distinction between my old life and my new life, right? I'm gonna stop here for a while because this is not only 2 sides. This is like a whole life concept. You have a life right now. Whatever you're doing right now is your life. There has to be a moment where you have to stop and think, do I want to continue my life the way it is right now? Whatever you're doing. Is it as far as career, relationships, as far as your faith, as far as anything that you do in your life? Do I really want to continue my life the way it is right now? Because if you tell me my life is perfect, no one's life is perfect. Our lives are not perfect, right? We have to make that distinction. There is no perfection, but you can always seek perfection, right? I'm a doctor right now. If I compare myself now to 20 years ago, I'm not the same person. But I beat myself in daily basis to seek perfection. Caitlin can actually testimony to that. So you cannot dwell on your failures, but you can definitely make a change in daily lives. I heard this quote at some point. If you're doing what you're doing in daily basis and you're very comfortable, that means you're not challenging yourself enough. Meaning that you wake up in the morning, you go to school, or you go to work, you come home, you eat dinner, and you go to sleep. You're doing what you're doing in daily basis at the same rate with the same intensity. Nothing has has challenged you that day, and you're very comfortable with what you do, you have not challenged yourself enough to move forward with your life. So for the student that I was talking to right now, who wants to pursue a field in medical field, do you feel like as you go every single day, the intensity and the load of the work that you do is the same? It has to increase, right? It's gonna reach a threshold where you feel you can't do more. And this is what all great leaders has done before. You know, athletes, you know, lawyers, doctors, presidents, they did not do what they did day in and day out and got to where they needed to be. They had to challenge themselves on a daily basis to get there. So, if we can go to the next point. So my turning point was, where I was going with this. At some point after I got married, about 6 or 7 years ago, after I got married 6 or 7 years in, I felt really depressed. I felt really tired. I felt like, as a mother, I'm raising 4 children at the time, you know, cooking, cleaning, changing diapers, giving feeding bottles, cleaning the house, and it repeats itself the same next morning, right? Same thing every single day. Had put in so much weight because I was feeling down, right? And that actually, he can testament to that, affected my relationship with him as well. And I was just mad at him, mad at my kids, and mad at the world, and why is everyone not helping me, and why am I washing dishes every day, and nobody feels my pain, and nobody feels my agony. And then I called my brother. He doesn't know that. I called my brother. And I said, I'm really upset. I put on so much weight. I'm not getting anywhere. I was top of my class in high school, and my life is just, I'm standing still. Nothing has changed. And I wake up every morning and I do the same thing. He said, yeah, because you lost yourself. I said, how? He said, you were the right person. You had some ambitions, and you just submitted to the fact that you want to stay home, and you do that. I said, but I was trying to blame my husband and blame it on the kids, and he said, don't blame anybody else. You start on yourself. You have to work on yourself. You have to have goals. You have to start making yourself happy, and you have to feel that you're doing something productive. You cannot stay like that. And subhanAllah, that day I read this verse, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Indeed, Allah will not change the conditions of a people until they change what's in themselves. So we're sitting here looking at people, oh, I wish I could lose weight, or I wish I could become a doctor, or I wish I can become this, or look at her, she can speak so well, or look at her, she can raise some successful children. Why are you always looking at people and wishing that you can be one? Just be one. Just be one. So that same year, I dropped about 70 pounds. Lost so much weight. I was exercising daily, running 2 miles. I used to drive by and look at people running, and I'm like, how could they do that? But alhamdulillah, I was able to do it, and I still do. So you have to really start from within. Don't expect change to come from around you. It has to come from within, okay? And mothers, we have double the responsibility, because our children and our husbands, our loved ones are looking up to us. So we have to make sure that we're in check before we actually expect change from people around us. Let's go. Next slide, please. So we talked about that. Next slide, please. So you have to stay focused. So what do you need to do to stay focused? You have to make sure that you have goals. You have to be goal-oriented. You have to have a mission. You have to have a vision, right? How do we stay focused? I mean, what is focus? Focus is just to be really goal-oriented. I'm going to give you tips down the road on how to actually stay focused. Can we move to the next slide, please? So I read this. It's like I look at a lot of motivational speakers and websites to help to build like businesses and whatnot. And then I really like this. They say staying focused on your goals is hard. In the beginning, you are certainly motivated. Like the first couple days when you make a plan, like New Year's resolutions, right? I'm gonna drop 50 pounds, and I'm going to be the best person there is, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that. 2 days, and then things start winding down. you don't have the same focus and the same motivation. So the key is not to stay focused those 2 days, 3 days a week. You have to stay persistent with it. So then we get caught up, we get stuck, frustrated, overloaded, overworked, distracted, and we simply just veer off track. It's hard to stay focused when you have so much going on. So we have kids going on, we have life going on, we have jobs going on, we have school going on, we have to fulfill our family relationships, right? We have to go to this cousin's house, and we have to fast the Muslim Ramadan, and we have to cook at night, and we have to wake up for subh prayers. But then, what else? You have to really have that list and task that drives you on a daily basis to do what you need to do. So, barriers that could actually stand our way from achieving our goals. Just before going through this slide, what do you think if you want to achieve your goal of becoming a doctor at some point, inshallah? And just roughly, what do you think could actually stand in your way of achieving that right now?
Money, probably.
Money, right? You know there's a lot of solutions to that, right? If you want, you said you want to be a psychologist? Psychiatrist. What do you think if you had to pick one thing that could actually possibly stop you from becoming one, what would it be?
Probably the amount of time
Time.
and dedication.
So dedication and time, these are really important. So I don't have time in there. I have money, okay. Yasin. So can you quickly introduce yourself and what do you possibly want to do in the future, inshallah? Speak up, please. Speak up. Orthopedic surgeon? Okay, if there's one thing that could possibly stand in your way of achieving that goal, what would it be? Speak up loud, please. Dedication. So I have money, dedication, time, and commitment, right? And your name again? I'm sorry. So are you thinking about pursuing something in the medical field, inshallah? I guess from your questions. So what would be something that could stop you from achieving your goal?
A lack of motivation.
Lack of motivation, right? That's why I'm here today, inshallah, right? So what would be one thing that could prevent you from achieving your goal?
I think confidence.
Confidence. Oh, that's a good one. That's a very good one. Okay, so we have lack of motivation, confidence, money, time, family challenges, because you have commitments, right? You're a mother who have 4 children. I'm pretty sure you might want to do something in the future, right? Inshallah. But your kids, your husband, your life, money, so that could actually stand in the way as well, right? You could be a single mom. You could be someone who's amazing and someone who's really have a lot of potential, but you're a single mom. I was raised by a single mom. She raised 7 of us. So there is a lot of things. And the false religious beliefs, this was a little bit, maybe not so much nowadays because of social media and how the world is becoming a melting pot, right? But I'm a hijabi, I'm a Muslim, I'm a female, or my skin color is different, or I have an accent, okay, I cannot speak proper English, right? These could be our own barriers of achieving our goals. Lack of self-confidence. The reason that I was going around the room and giving you the microphone to speak is this how you build your confidence. You need to really look people in the eye and speak because you're smart, you're beautiful, your hijab is amazing. I can tell you can become a successful person, inshallah, in the future. Don't be scared to talk to people. Give them eye to eye and give that eye contact and speak, because not only that you're speaking your mind, you're representing an entire ummah. You're representing yourself. You're representing your daughter, your sister, your nephew. So when people look at you and say, and I get it the whole time. And I walk into the room and I look at them, hey, good morning, my name is Dr. Netta, I'm gonna be taking care of you. And they look at me and like, who? A, she's not white. B, she wears a headscarf. C, she's not American. How can I trust her, right? I have to build that trust. I have to make them believe by the time they're walking out of my clinic, I'm the best dentist in town. How did I get there? Confidence, knowledge, trust in your beliefs, trust in what you can provide. And every time I'm scared of something, I always think of my daughters. And I feel like I'm doing this for them, because if I'm strong, if I'm confident, and if I can make people believe in what I say, guess what I just did? I showed my daughters that they can do that as well. Okay? So let's go to the next slide, please. So this is a very slight version of a big project, right? We need to work on public speaking, for instance. We need to work on communication skills. We need to work on networking. We need to work on how to become someone who can lead an entire organization. And these are little workshops that we have to actually work on. This is just an overview of what we need to work on to help us to get there, okay? So you can never take no for an answer. You just cannot. Because if you go to apply to medical school, dental school, optometry school, and in the interview and they say, unfortunately, we can't take you in this year because of X, Y, and Z, you just cannot take no for an answer, right? I'm going to share a very small story with you guys. When I was working to get into dental school, I worked with a dentist. I was his hygienist. We worked together for over 6 years. And one day he said, can I ask you a question? I was like, yeah. He was like, why do you want to become a dentist? I said, because I believe that I can do it. And he said, yeah, I think you should just stay as a hygienist because A, you have kids, B, you will never make it to dental school because getting into dental school is really hard. C, even if you get into dental school, you probably would not finish dental school because I struggled through dental school. I was a C average student throughout dental school and I graduated by chance. So I certainly believe that you probably would not graduate from dental school. And I cried so much that day because I felt like not only he destroyed my motive and my dreams, he clearly was someone who did not appreciate female spirit, right? So subhanAllah, that only gave me a motive to push harder. And alhamdulillah, I got into dental school. Not only I got into dental school, I was in the top 5% in my class. And guess what happened? I called him for my graduation ceremony. I said, I graduated dental school. I was in the top 5 students in my class, and I'm an excellent clinician and provider. Come on to my graduation. So do not take no for an answer. Please do not take no for an answer. Okay? So the recipe for success, inshallah, right? There's always a recipe for everything. And this is a lot of information, but again, this is just the building blocks that we have to work on. And we have to have, number one, a very good relationship with the Creator, Allah, God, right? We have to have that relationship. You have to have faith. You have to ask Him for wisdom. You have to ask Him for guidance. And you have to make sure that you have that connection with Him, right? Number one. Number two, you have to write your goals. You have to be very goal-oriented. So, because I want to become a doctor, I want to do this, I want to do this, you have to have a timeline in which you want to achieve that, right? You also have to become an effective manager of your time. We cannot waste time, right? Because the clock is ticking. Because every time you're sitting on your cell phone or browsing the net or just having a lazy moment, someone else is researching and getting where they need to be and studying and become an effective person in getting what they need to be, right? You have to develop milestones towards your goals, meaning that, inshallah, this year I'm going to go to Nova, I'm going to present them with my credentials from overseas, and I have to get this done in 6 months, inshallah, and in 7 months I would like to do X, Y, and Z. Also, we have to follow our plan. We have to have checkpoints to see where we stand and what we're doing with our plan. We have to analyze our process, because if I'm running 6 miles a day and I'm exercising, and drinking 8 cups of water a day, and eating healthy, you should see a result. You should feel like your energy level has increased, or you're becoming a happier person and someone who's healthy and all of that, right? You have to avoid procrastination. And I think this is one of our biggest problems, is to procrastinate in our own goals. Yeah, I'll get to it whenever I get to it. Or I'll do it inshallah, I don't know when, I'm just gonna get it done at some point. And we have to implement motivational techniques. What motivates you? Is it your relationship with Allah? Is it your healthy lifestyle? Is it positive quotes? Is it reading? Is it reading Al-Quran and making sure that you're spiritually up there? You have to make sure that you're spiritual in some way. Spiritually, mentally, physically. You have to be fit. You have to understand and listen to your body, listen to your brain. And so, inshallah, I'll go over each one of those. So, how many of us here have a notebook or something to write stuff on in daily basis? Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's really important. Shima, I want you to get one. I'll get you one. You have to have a notebook or a diary where you write your daily feelings. What do you want to do? This takes it from your brain to a paper, and then you'll feel more organized when you do that, right? So you have to have daily tasks and annual goals and biannual goals, and inshallah I'll go over each one of those, inshallah. So you have to stay in a strong relationship with the Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. So I'm a firm believer that it doesn't matter how excellent and how good and how smart you are. If you don't have a good relationship with Allah, you're not going to get anywhere. It's spiritual. You cannot get anywhere, right? So He gives us success. He gives us wisdom. He gives us guidance. He gets us where we need to be, right? So He gives us all of that. What are we giving Him? And by all means, I'm not someone who speaks about deen or anything, but that's as much as I know is if you don't pray your 5 prayers a day on time, you're not going to get anywhere. I don't care what lecture you're in. I don't care what exams you're taking. I don't know what task you're doing. You have to stop whatever you're doing and go pray, because that's your connection to Him, and that's how He's going to give you back. Okay? And the power of dua, you have to make dua. You have to ask Him for wisdom. You have to ask Him for guidance, because if He doesn't give you, if you don't ask, you can have limitless dua, and Allah can actually give you as much as you ask. So why not ask, right? So when Sheikh Sharif was asking me, were there some blocks or some dark moments throughout my career that made me realize that I'm not going to achieve my goal? There were so many of them, and the only way I feel like I got through it is by making so much dua. So much dua. Allah help me. And I always ask Allah, if this is khair for me, for dini and dunya, my kids and my life, make it happen. And if this has no good in it, send it away. So that was my first dua. Because I was very unsure about dental school. I was very unsure about, my career in general. I'm a female, I have 6 children. Dental school is super expensive. It requires a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment, a lot of confidence, and I didn't have any of that. I did not have any of that, so I had to make a lot of dua.